News sound tonight from Donald Trump on the war in Gaza, once again making this claim about the October 7th attack.
But when you look at what happened now and you see what's going on, it's very, 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 very sad. That attack would have never happened in a million years. Iran didn't have the money for Hamas. They didn't have the money for Hezbollah.
This comes at a truly perilous time. Tonight, Israel is now concerned about a full-blown war in the north with Hezbollah and that the Iron Dome may not hold up. Let's bring in his former national security advisor to discuss. Ambassador John Bolton is here with us. Ambassador, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be with you.
Do you agree with Trump's assessment there? Do you think that the Israel war in the north with Hezbollah is inevitable?
Well, I think Trump is, again, making a statement that's neither verifiable nor disprovable because it's purely imaginative. What is unfolding, what has been unfolding in the Middle East since October the 7th, though, is the Iranian Ring of Fire strategy. And it may not be going very well for them on the Gaza front, but this threat from Hezbollah has existed for a long time. They've got a massive stockpile of missiles that they've accumulated over a long period of time, including substantial amounts before Biden took office. So the capability that Hezbollah has to overwhelm Israel's air defenses has been known for some time. It's been a threat for some time. And while they look for ways to perhaps launch a preemptive strike against those arsenals, obviously it's been on their mind since October the 7th that this might be the time when Israel does face what it has now, multiple fronts in a comprehensive strategy launched by Tehran.
What do you think that, given that we know that the Iron Dome may not be able to handle this, what do you think Israel should be doing right now? Should they be preparing for war or trying to find a way to de-escalate this?
Well, I think they're worried that it's you can always de-escalate if you surrender. The way that you overwhelm Iron Dome or any missile defense system is fire a lot more missiles than there are anti-missiles. That's the same problem the United States has now with its missile defense system, that it's just not fully where it should be, either protecting the homeland or protecting our deployed forces overseas or our allies. So Israel doesn't have a lot of good options. I think it's one reason why they wanted to finish Hamas off in the Gaza Strip and then deal with Hezbollah. They may be reading intelligence that says they're not going to have that option, because if Hezbollah were to launch, say, a massive missile attack on Tel Aviv or Haifa, major civilian locations, the casualties could be devastating.
On top of all of this, there are these very serious and very public tensions between the White House and Benjamin Netanyahu. Just days after Netanyahu called out the Biden administration over weapons delays, I want you to listen to what the White House said today.
Those comments were deeply disappointing and certainly vexing to us, given the amount of support that we have and will continue to provide Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Is Netanyahu playing a political game here and in the process playing with fire?
Well, I don't think he's playing with fire. He'll be in Washington shortly to address a joint session of Congress. I think what Netanyahu is reflecting is resentment against the unbelievable pressure that the Biden White House has applied to his government on a number of fronts since October the 7th. And I think has led to the situation in Gaza now not being resolved. I don't think in American history we've seen an ally the subject of so much negative pressure by an American administration.
But Ambassador Bolton, the weapons are not being withheld. So Netanyahu says that they are, but they're not.
Well, they were being withheld. No, I have to say, I talked to a lot of people in the government here in Israel. I've heard a lot of things about pressure being put on Israel, including withholding of export licenses of military commodities to Israel. And I think there was a lot more pressure put on in terms of threats and actual withholding or delays of weapon system. We'll see it. Someday the facts here will come out. But I don't think you can underestimate how difficult the the White House has made it for Israel to accomplish its objectives, which I think the White House probably believes are not the right objectives, just afraid to say that publicly.
Ambassador Bolton, former President Trump said in an interview tonight, he once again praised Kim Jong-un, the North Korean leader. And this comes right after Vladimir Putin and Kim just struck this week a defense deal. I wonder, what does the alliance between, Kim and Putin look like if Trump is elected again? And he seems to constantly want to butter up this dictator.
Well, the Putin-Kim meeting in Korea was really a get-together of two of the people in the world Donald Trump considers his best friends. Remember, he said of Kim Jong-un, "We fell in love," and he was happy about that. So when you see that military partnership, that relationship, the security relationship between Moscow and Pyongyang progressing, and you see the unity, the public display of unity behind Moscow's war against Ukraine, this is definitely something to be worried about. I mean, you hear a lot of Trump advocates trying to reassure people, saying the second term's not going to look like the first term. It's going to be a rational foreign policy. I think that they're deceiving people, perhaps unconsciously, perhaps hoping. But hope isn't a strategy when it comes to Trump. This is the look of American foreign policy, and it's not going to be pretty.
We are now 1 week from a debate between former President Trump and President Biden. How are you expecting Trump to behave and perform on that debate stage?
It's a very important question. I acknowledge that. I don't have any idea. Look, he's going to go out and wing it like he does pretty much on everything. His advisors can give him all the tips that they want to, but what his performance will be, he will decide minute by minute on stage.
Ambassador John Bolton, you know him fairly well. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Glad to be with you.